Alright, the Lakers are hitting the court again tonight for a preseason rematch against the Phoenix Suns. But this time, things get interesting. Luka Doncic is finally making his preseason debut. Alongside him, we'll also see Marcus Smart suiting up for his first ever game as a Laker. There's definitely plenty to get hyped about and a lot worth watching closely in tonight's matchup. With that in mind, let's talk about 5 things that really deserve attention, not just the preseason debut of Marcus Smart and Luka Doncic, but everything surrounding it. How will JJ Redick handle the rotations? Will he shake up the starting lineup? What's the real state of the team's health? Who's shining, who's struggling, and who needs to step it up to earn real minutes in the rotation? There's a lot to unpack, so let's dive in, starting with the long-awaited preseason debut of Marcus Smart and Luka Doncic. This is absolutely the #1 thing to watch tonight. Fans have been waiting for this moment, and honestly, there's been a bit of teasing going on. Reports said Luka would play in the last preseason game, and that clearly never happened. Same with Marcus Smart. But now, it finally looks like it's actually happening, at least, that's what the latest reports claim. We'll know for sure before tip-off. If even one of them plays, it's going to be worth the hype, especially with Marcus Smart making his Lakers debut. Coming off an injury-prone season, he's got a lot to prove to the fanbase. Plenty of fans doubt him, saying he's washed up, not the same player he used to be, and won't make the kind of difference the Lakers are hoping for. This is his first real shot to silence those critics, to show he can still play at a high level and bring real impact to the team on both ends of the floor. But mainly, it's all about defense. That's clearly what the Lakers need most, especially at the point of attack. The mix of Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, and a locked-in DeAndre could finally give them a real 3-level defense and tons of flexibility within the rotation. That's the first big thing to keep an eye on. How many minutes will Marcus Smart actually play tonight? Will he be on a minutes restriction? Most likely, it's preseason, after all, but it's still worth watching closely. Another key question is where he fits in the rotation. Will JJ Redick start him, or bring him off the bench? And if he does come off the bench, is that where he'll stay to start the season? That's definitely something to monitor. As for Luka, well, there's not a whole lot left to say about him. We pretty much know what to expect at this point. We already know what to expect from Luka Doncic, especially after his strong Eurobasket run where he looked dominant. He's clearly taken his offseason seriously, focusing on transforming his body and getting into the best shape he's been in for years. Perfect timing before the regular season. Honestly, there's no reason to doubt Luka. We all know what he brings and how much he'll impact this team. The main thing is just keeping him healthy and showing he's ready to truly lead this squad. Beyond that, there's not much to nitpick, though if we're being critical, I'd like to see him show more defensive effort. If he's really in better shape, as it definitely seems, then we should see him moving quicker, staying active, and making more of a commitment on defense. He showed flashes of that during Eurobasket, so now it's time to bring that same energy to the NBA, even in preseason games. So yeah, keep an eye on that, too. But really, we already know what Luka's going to bring. There's no point in piling heavy expectations on him, especially not in a preseason game. What is going to be interesting, though, is seeing both him and Marcus Smart finally make their preseason debuts tonight. Beyond that, another big thing to watch is the starting lineup. Throughout preseason, JJ Redick has been experimenting with different combinations, depending on who's available to play. For example, last game he went with Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre, but that lineup is definitely changing tonight. With Luka back, he's obviously starting, and maybe Marcus Smart could get a shot, though I doubt it since he probably won't play heavy minutes. Still, I'm sure Redick will tweak things again. Dalton Connect probably won't start this time. Maybe Jake LaRavia finally gets a chance to step in. He already got a shot earlier this preseason, so maybe Redick circles back to that lineup. Or maybe he tries something different, like giving Gabe Vincent a chance to start instead of coming off the bench. Vincent's actually played really well this preseason, so you never know. LeBron, of course, won't be playing tonight and is expected to miss some early regular season games, probably around 5 to 15. That opens the door for Redick to test out different lineups. Personally, I think his go-to combo will eventually be Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre, and tonight might be his first chance to test that group, assuming Reeves plays after tweaking his ankle last game. If not, Redick might use the opportunity to experiment again, maybe sliding Marcus Smart or someone else in there. Either way, it's definitely something worth watching closely. Now, moving on to the third key thing to keep an eye on. I'd mainly be watching for the team's health tonight. They've already had several players banged up. LeBron's out, Anthony Davis is hurt and hasn't played all preseason, and even one of their two-way guys, Chris Madden, is sidelined with a grade 2 ankle sprain and won't be back before the regular season. So staying healthy is the biggest priority right now. Marcus Smart is just coming back and still managing some Achilles tendinopathy, so it's crucial he doesn't aggravate it or turn it into something more serious. Same goes for the rest of the roster. Guys like Gabe Vincent and even Austin Reeves have been dealing with minor issues and limited workloads during camp. At this point, the goal isn't to push anyone too hard, it's just to make it through the end of preseason healthy and ready for opening night. So that's the third key thing to keep an eye on: durability. They can't afford any more injuries with how thin the roster already is. Staying healthy has to be the top priority. Now, for the fourth thing to watch, I'd focus on DeAndre Ayton. A lot of fans were panicking after his first 2 games when he didn't score any points, which honestly felt like a huge overreaction. He was playing without Luka Doncic and LeBron James, so of course his numbers looked off. But now he's coming off a strong preseason performance: 14 points, 8 rebounds, and is averaging around 7 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks so far. What matters most is consistency, especially on defense. I'm watching to see if he can keep that same energy while playing alongside Luka for the first time. Ayton's been hyping up the chance to finally share the court with him, so this is the moment to see if that chemistry actually shows up. Definitely excited to see that two-man combo in action tonight. I'm especially looking forward to watching their pick-and-roll game. DeAndre Ayton has always had great instincts in that play, not just this preseason, but really his whole career. Just think back to his Phoenix days with Chris Paul, that was one of the best pick-and-roll duos of the last decade, no question. I'm hoping he can build something similar with Luka Doncic, and we'll hopefully get our first real look at that connection tonight. Honestly, I don't think it'll take long for them to click. Luka's such an elite playmaker and has worked with plenty of great lob threats before, so building that chemistry with Ayton should come naturally. Given Ayton's experience working with guys like Chris Paul and other top-level facilitators, the adjustment shouldn't take much time. It's great that they're getting a chance to experiment with it now in preseason, getting a feel for each other before the real games begin. That's valuable court time for them, way better than trying to figure things out once the real games start. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it, and I don't think it'll take them long to click. Now, for my fifth and final thing to watch tonight, it has to be their defense. With Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, and DeAndre Ayton all available, or at least expected to be, this could be their strongest defensive lineup of the preseason. They're coming off their best defensive showing yet against Golden State, so the question is, can they do it again? And can they sustain that even with Luka Doncic back in the mix? Will he actually help on defense, or will he make it tougher to maintain that intensity? With offensive-minded players like Austin Reeves also out there, can this team finally show some defensive growth from last season? That's what I'll be watching, how different it looks, whether Marcus Smart really elevates their defense, and just how big of an impact he can make right away. Can the trio of Marcus Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, and DeAndre Ayton actually transform this team's defense? That's what I'm watching for tonight. Even just a glimpse of it would be huge. Of course, this is still a preseason game, so they're not going all out for 48 minutes. I'm not expecting them to shut down Phoenix or hold them to 90 points, but I do want to see at least a quarter or two of real, locked-in defense. I want to see clear effort, communication, rotations, and everyone buying into the defensive mindset. No more of that on and off defense where they play one great possession and then completely fall asleep on the next. Their transition defense especially has been rough, not just last season but for years now. It's time to show they actually care about fixing that. Hopefully tonight, we'll finally see signs that this team is serious about improving defensively. But with all that being said, that's what I'm most excited to see tonight: the preseason debuts of Marcus Smart and Luka Doncic, DeAndre Ayton's consistency and whether he keeps up his strong play, how the starting lineup looks and if it changes again, how the team defends overall, and most importantly, whether they can stay healthy and avoid any new injuries. That's what I'll be watching closely. But what about you? What are you looking forward to in their fourth preseason game? Are you focused on the starting lineup, specific player performances, or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, that just about wraps this one up. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. As always, thanks for watching, and have an awesome day or night wherever you are.